What's going on, everyone? Okay, so this one is going to be wild because the ESPN programs this week have been absolutely buzzing about a name that I don't think a lot of Lakers fans had on their radar: Domantas Sabonis. Yes, the Sacramento Kings big man is apparently a serious target for the Los Angeles Lakers, and the analysis I've been hearing on SportsCenter, First Take, Get Up, all of these shows has completely changed how I view this potential move. Let me break down everything they've been saying because this could be the most important Lakers trade discussion of the entire season. Starting with the early morning Sports Center, where they really set the table for this whole conversation, the anchor opened with a provocative question: what is the Lakers' kryptonite? And the answer he gave surprised me at first, but the more I thought about it, the more it made sense. Nikola Jokic. The Denver Nuggets big man has absolutely owned the Lakers in recent matchups, particularly dominating Anthony Davis in ways that have been frankly embarrassing for a team with championship aspiration. Hey, what's up, everyone? Real quick before we get into everything, that like button is literally what determines if this reaches hundreds or thousands of fans. Takes 1 second but makes a huge impact on the channel's growth. Just smash that like button right now. It's the easiest thing you can do, but honestly, the biggest way to support this content. Every single like pushes this further, so hit it now. And here's where Domantas Sabonis enters the picture. The analyst described him as the antithesis to Jokic, a big man who can match Jokic's physicality, his passing, his rebounding, his ability to control games from the center position. The idea isn't necessarily to stop Jokic completely, because nobody can do that, but to at least have someone who can compete with him, who can make him work, who can ensure that the Lakers don't just get steamrolled whenever they face Denver. The analyst went deep into the comparison between Sabonis and what the Lakers currently have at the 5 position. DeAndre Ayton is good, he argued, but he's not the type of player who can match up with Jokic in a 7-game series. He doesn't have the passing to keep pace with Jokic's playmaking. He doesn't have the toughness to battle Jokic in the post for 4 quarters. Sabonis, on the other hand, has proven he can do those things. He's a 2-time All-Star who's been one of the most dominant rebounders and passers at the center position for years. On First Take, Stephen A. Smith was characteristically emphatic about why this trade makes so much sense for the Lakers right now. And his argument centered on something that a lot of fans don't want to acknowledge: the uncertainty surrounding LeBron James and Anthony Davis. Stephen A. explained the Lakers' situation in stark terms. LeBron's contract ends after this season, and there's genuine uncertainty about whether he returns to LA or goes somewhere else for his farewell tour. Maybe Cleveland, maybe Golden State, maybe somewhere else entirely. Anthony Davis, meanwhile, has been described in some circles as the team's Achilles heel against elite competition, particularly against Jokic and the Nuggets. So what do the Lakers do? According to Stephen A., they need to start thinking about the future while also maximizing the present. And Domantas Sabonis accomplishes both of those goals simultaneously. He has a contract that runs through 2027 to 28, which means he'd be a cornerstone of the franchise for years to come, regardless of what happens with LeBron. And he's good enough right now to make the Lakers legitimate contenders this season alongside Luka Doncic. The really interesting part of Stephen A.'s analysis was when he talked about the potential Big Three the Lakers could form. Imagine, he said, Luka Doncic, Domantas Sabonis, and Anthony Davis. That's 3 all-star caliber players who all complement each other's game. Luka needs a pick-and-roll partner who can finish and pass. Sabonis is one of the best in the league at exactly that. Sabonis needs a rim protector to cover for his defensive limitations. AD is arguably the best in the league at that. It all fits together like a puzzle. On Get Up, the discussion took a more tactical approach as they broke down exactly how Sabonis would change the Lakers' offensive system. And let me tell you, the possibilities they outlined were absolutely fascinating. One of the analysts started by explaining Sabonis's elite passing ability. This guy averages over 7 assists per game as a center. He can run the offense from the high post. He can find cutters, he can kick out to shooters, he can make plays that most big men simply can't see. In a Lakers offense that sometimes gets bogged down in isolation basketball, having a playmaking hub like Sabonis could unlock new dimensions. The analyst then imagined a scenario where LeBron rests on the bench, but the Lakers don't lose their offensive identity. With Sabonis running pick and rolls with Luka, with Austin Reeves cutting and shooting, the Lakers could maintain a high-level offense even without their 40-year-old superstar on the floor. That's huge for regular season management and for playoffs when you need everyone fresh. They also talked about Sabonis' rebounding. The guy is a monster on the glass, consistently putting up 13-14 rebounds per game. In playoff basketball, where every possession matters, having someone who can control the boards like that is invaluable. The Lakers have struggled with rebounding in recent years, often getting out-hustled by younger, more energetic teams. Sabonis would instantly fix that problem. On the Midday Sports Center, they dove into the business side of this potential trade, and this is where it gets really interesting. The reporter explained that the Sacramento Kings, despite having Sabonis locked up long-term, might actually be open to moving him for the right package. The reasoning is complicated, but it makes sense when you think about it. The Kings have been stuck in playoff purgatory, good enough to make the postseason but not good enough to actually compete for a championship. De'Aaron Fox is their franchise cornerstone, and there's a growing sentiment that they need to build differently around him. Sabonis is fantastic, but maybe his skill set doesn't maximize what Fox does best. For the Lakers, this creates an opportunity. If they can put together a package that gives the Kings assets for their future, while also improving their current roster for a Fox-centric approach, a deal could actually happen. The reporter mentioned that the Lakers' first-round pick, some combination of young players and salary matching through expiring contracts, could be the foundation of a trade. On First Take the next day, the hosts debated the most controversial aspect of this potential trade. Would getting Sabonis mean moving on from Anthony Davis? This is where things got heated. One of the hosts argued that there's no way the Lakers should trade AD, regardless of how the Sabonis situation plays out. Davis is still an elite player when healthy, a potential All-NBA guy who can anchor a championship defense. You don't give that up for anyone, even someone as talented as Sabonis. But Stephen A. offered a different perspective. He pointed out that there have been persistent rumors about AD's future with the Lakers, questions about whether he can stay healthy for a full playoff run, concerns about how he matches up against elite centers like Jokic. What if, Stephen A. suggested, the Lakers could somehow orchestrate a scenario where they get Sabonis and keep AD? That would be the ideal outcome. The discussion then shifted to how that would work. Both Sabonis and AD are max-level players in terms of salary. Fitting them both under the cap would require significant maneuvering, but it's not impossible, especially if the Lakers are willing to shed salary elsewhere. Imagine a front court of Sabonis and AD together, one handling the offensive playmaking and rebounding, while the other provides elite rim protection and defensive versatility. That's a nightmare matchup for any team. On Get Up, they addressed something that not enough people are talking about: how Sabonis' game would evolve playing alongside true superstars. In Sacramento, Sabonis is the focal point of the offense. Everything runs through him, which is great for his stats, but maybe limits what he could be in a different context. With the Lakers, the analyst explained, Sabonis wouldn't have to carry such a heavy burden. He could play off LeBron and Luka, finding easier shots, getting better passing lanes, operating against defenses that are scrambling to deal with multiple threats. We might actually see a more efficient Sabonis, one who takes better shots and makes even better decisions because the defense can't key on him exclusively. The analyst also talked about playoff Sabonis, which has been a concern for some. Critics point to his struggles in the postseason, particularly against the Warriors in recent years. But the counter-argument is that Sabonis has never had this level of talent around him in the playoffs. Give him LeBron and Luka to play with, and those matchup problems that plagued him in Sacramento might disappear. On the Evening Sports Center, they brought out the comparison graphics that really drove home why Sabonis would be so valuable. They put up his numbers next to the Lakers' current production from the center position, and the difference was stark. Sabonis is averaging a double-double with assists almost tripled compared to what the Lakers' centers are producing. His efficiency in the paint is elite. His passing out of the post creates opportunities that the Lakers simply don't have right now. And his durability has been remarkable, playing 70-plus games for multiple consecutive seasons. The analyst pointed out something important. Sabonis is only 28 years old. He's entering the prime of his career, not leaving it. That's crucial for a Lakers team that needs to plan beyond the LeBron era. If you acquire Sabonis now, you're not just getting help for this season. You're getting a franchise building block for the next 5+ years. They also showed how Sabonis would fit into the Lakers' half-court sets. With his ability to set screens, slip to the basket, and find shooters when doubled, he'd give Luka options that currently don't exist. The Lakers' half-court offense has been described as stagnant at times this season. Sabonis' basketball IQ and passing would add much-needed fluidity. On First Take later in the week, the conversation turned to what the Kings would actually accept in return for Sabonis. This is where it gets tricky because Sacramento isn't going to give away an all-star for nothing. The reporter who covers the Kings said they'd be looking for a combination of young talent, draft picks, and salary relief. The Lakers have some of those assets, but maybe not all of them. A package centered on Austin Reeves was mentioned as a possibility, though the hosts were divided on whether the Lakers should go that far. Stephen A. argued that, as good as Austin Reeves has been, he's not the type of player who moves the needle in the playoffs the way Sabonis would. If you have to trade Reeves to get an all-star big man who addresses multiple needs, you do it. The Lakers have Luka now. They don't necessarily need another ball-handling guard as much as they need front-court help. The counter-argument was that Reeves has shown he can play off the ball effectively, and his contract is extremely team-friendly compared to what he produces. Trading him for Sabonis might win the talent battle, but lose the value battle. This is the type of decision that defines front offices. On Get Up the next morning, they discussed the domino effect a Sabonis trade could have on the rest of the Lakers roster. If Sabonis comes in, what happens to DeAndre Ayton? What happens to the young big men on the roster? How does the rotation shake out? The analyst walked through a few scenarios. In one, Ayton becomes an elite backup, giving the Lakers depth at the 5 position that would be unmatched in the league. In another, Ayton is included in the Sabonis trade as a way to match salaries and give the Kings a talented young big to develop. Each scenario has pros and cons. What everyone agreed on is that acquiring Sabonis would immediately elevate the Lakers' ceiling. Whether that means sacrificing some depth or continuity, that's a trade-off championship teams often have to make. You can't optimize everything. Sometimes you have to consolidate talent and figure out the rest later. On the Afternoon Sports Center, they did a segment on the historical precedent for these types of trades. The reporter pointed out that the Lakers have always been aggressive when it comes to acquiring star talent. The Kareem trade, the Shaq signing, the Pau Gasol trade, the Anthony Davis trade. These moves defined eras and brought championships. Domantas Sabonis might not be quite at the level of those names, but he represents the same type of bold thinking. You see an opportunity to significantly improve your roster, you take it. You don't worry about whether you're giving up too much or whether the fit is perfect. You get the talent and figure it out. The reporter also mentioned that Rob Pelinka has been looking for this type of move for a while. The Lakers have made smaller trades and signing, but nothing that really moved the needle. Sabonis would be different. Sabonis would signal to the league that the Lakers are serious about competing at the highest level again. On First Take the final day of the week, the hosts gave their closing arguments on whether the Lakers should aggressively pursue Domantas Sabonis. And the discussion was nuanced, but ultimately optimistic. Stephen A. made his case passionately. He said the Lakers are at a crossroads. They can continue down the path they're on, hoping that health and luck get them through the playoffs. Or they can make a bold move that fundamentally changes who they are as a team. Sabonis is that move. He addressed the concerns about fit, about defense, about what they'd have to give up, and to each concern, he had a response. Fit? Sabonis is a basketball genius who can play with anyone. Defense? That's why you still have AD. What they'd give up? Championship windows are rare. You don't preserve assets when you have a chance to win. The other hosts mostly agreed, with some caveats. One mentioned that the trade would only make sense if the Lakers can keep AD as well. Another pointed out that the Kings might ask for too much, making the deal impractical. A third suggested that maybe waiting until the off-season when more options are available might be smarter. But the overall consensus was clear. If the Lakers can get Domantas Sabonis without completely gutting their roster, they should absolutely do it. He addresses multiple needs simultaneously. He fits the championship timeline, and he provides security for the post-LeBron era. So wrapping up the ESPN analysis on Domantas Sabonis to the Lakers, here are the main points that came up across all the programs this week. First, the Lakers need a counter to Nikola Jokic, and Sabonis is one of the few players in the league who can provide that. His physicality, passing, and rebounding match up well against the reigning MVP. Second, Sabonis provides both present value and future security. At 28, with a contract through 2027 to 28, he's a cornerstone piece regardless of what happens with LeBron. Third, his playmaking would unlock new offensive possibilities for the Lakers. With LeBron and Luka already on the roster, adding another elite passer in Sabonis could create an offense that's virtually impossible to defend. Fourth, the trade is potentially achievable. The Kings have reasons to consider moving Sabonis, and the Lakers have assets that could interest Sacramento. And fifth, this is exactly the type of bold move the Lakers have historically made to build championship teams. It fits the franchise's identity and philosophy. I have to say, after watching all this ESPN coverage, I'm more convinced than ever that Domantas Sabonis would be a fantastic addition to the Lakers. He's not a flashy name like some other trade targets, but he might be the most impactful. The things he does, playmaking, rebounding, physical post play, are exactly what the Lakers need to compete against the elite teams in the West. So that's everything ESPN has been saying about Domantas Sabonis to the Lakers. It was a lot to digest, but these are the conversations happening at the highest level of sports media right now. If you enjoyed this breakdown, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you don't miss any updates. Drop a comment letting me know what you think. Would Sabonis make the Lakers championship contenders? I want to hear your opinion. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you all in the next video.